The Enforcement Directorate has now summoned Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's PA for questioning in connection with its ongoing probe into the excise policy scam. In the latest on the excise policy scam, the ED has now summoned Arvind Kejriwal's personal assistant. He is going to be questioned with regards to the excise policy. In fact, the ED now intensifying its probe as a lot of allegations leveled against the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi for trying to swindle money in the name of excise policy, formulating the new excise policy. This was done with an intention to extract money. These are the allegations on the Aam Aadmi Party, which the ED, the CBI, the IT, you have all the central agencies intensely probing these allegations. ED has also now summoned Arvind Kejriwal's PA, his personal assistant, to try and investigate the role of him, or it appears even the Chief Minister, if at all, Arvind Kejriwal, in formulating the excise policy which may have had corrupt intentions. This was the allegation leveled against the AAP. Manish Sisodia is one of the prime accused in the excise policy scam. In fact, at this point, Manish Sisodia has been summoned multiple times, and so far there's no conclusive report on this case though. It's been months. Let me cut across to Manish. Manish, I was saying months that the ED has been probing the excise policy in Delhi. And for months, Aam Aadmi Party has been saying that if there was any wrongdoing, then by now the ED or the IT or any other central agency could have found out and implicated those guilty. But so far, no proof that they are guilty. You have another summons going out to Arvind Kejriwal's personal assistant now. What's the reason?
Well, Nabila, not only the summon was given to Kejriwal's PA, personal assistant, that is Bibhav, but also what we have been given to understand is that he is being questioned as we speak in the Delhi excise policy alleged scam case. Now, what we do know at this point of time is that Kejriwal's PA Bibhav was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. This morning he appeared before the Enforcement Directorate, and now the officials are questioning him in connection with this case. Now, as far as this entire case is concerned, it has been months, absolutely true, but the Enforcement Directorate maintains that they are closing in to the main culprit in this entire scam. As far as Manish Sisodia's name is concerned, remember that appeared from the first charge sheet by the Enforcement Directorate that he had played a major role. He had destroyed more than half dozens of cases while this excise policy was enforced in Delhi. But as far as Arvind Kejriwal's name is concerned, in the last charge sheet, we saw that and we reported also that Arvind Kejriwal's name was also mentioned in the charge sheet, and in the reference that Vijay Nair, one of the main accused and conspirator in the case according to Enforcement Directorate, spoke to Arvind Kejriwal over a FaceTime, and that FaceTime call was made only to ensure that Sameer Mahendru, another accused in the case, can be taken into confidence. And according to the ED charge sheet, Arvind Kejriwal over the FaceTime call told Sameer Mahendru that you can trust Vijay Nair, he is my boy, and do what he is doing, what he is asking you to do. So the Enforcement Directorate implicated Arvind Kejriwal in that charge sheet, and now his PA being questioned in connection with this case. So there is a huge, I can say, blow to Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party. They are claiming that this is nothing but political vendetta. But as far as the agencies are concerned, they are claiming that not only they are closing in on Manish Sisodia, but also they are implicating Arvind Kejriwal at this point of time. Nabila.
All right, Manish, thank you very much. It appears that Arvind Kejriwal also then, in that case, in the picture on the excise policy. We believe his PA has now been summoned. Investigation into the excise policy going intense with the ED, taking a good look at all the angles to see if there were any corrupt intentions before framing that excise policy, if there was any money extracted out in the name of the excise policy in Delhi. In fact, Manish, at this point, all right, we've lost his connection there. That's the latest coming in. We have Arvind Kejriwal's PA, who's now been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate in the Liquorgate probe. As we know, the excise policy has been intensely probed. In fact, Arvind Kejriwal also, it appears to be in the dock. He, along with his deputy, have been intensely investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. And the latest coming in that ED is all set to question Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's personal assistant as well at this point. He could be grilled and questions will be asked on various levels. There are a lot of approvals that may have been granted by the senior departments, including that of the Chief Minister's office, the Deputy Chief Minister's office as well. They were all involved in framing the policy. How far was it malicious or corrupt? That remains to be established. Cutting across to Munish Pandey for a little more. Munish, a quick word from you again on Arvind Kejriwal's PA. How far is he integral in the framing of the policy itself? Why do you think he has now been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate? If you could elaborate for us, is he an active member, a participant in framing the policy?
Well, Nabila, as far as the framing of this entire policy was concerned, what ED charge sheet maintains that Manish Sisodia, Vijay Nair and some of the key accused in the case, that is the businessman in this liquor scam, Sameer Mahendra and others were involved in framing of this policy. As far as Arvind Kejriwal's PA is concerned, what ED maintains at this point of time, and this is a preliminary information which we are getting from our sources, is that Arvind Kejriwal's PA, who is being questioned as we speak in the Enforcement Directorate office in National Capital, he was someone who was involved in setting up certain meetings of Arvind Kejriwal. Remember, a member of parliament from the southern part of India, that person had also come and met Arvind Kejriwal regarding the liquor policy, how he is going to benefit from the liquor policy, and Arvind Kejriwal in that meeting welcomed that particular member of parliament to do business in national capital. Apart from that, we have been told that Arvind Kejriwal's PA was also involved in setting up certain calls to certain accused in the case. So at this point of time, what we do know that Bibhav, the question of the personal assistant of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, he has been questioned by the Enforcement Directorate officials regarding the role he played in setting up the meeting, setting up certain calls, and ED wants to know that whether these meetings were official in nature or whether there was any backdoor meetings or not, and whether his phone was used in certain calls, including the FaceTime call or not. So these are the primary information which we are getting from our sources within the Enforcement Directorate. His questioning is going to be certainly important because the focus of ED is going to be if there was any role played by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal in forming and executing this excise policy or not. And if ED finds any evidence, then they are going to confront the PA of Arvind Kejriwal in connection with this case.
Right, and this development, it appears, comes just a day after the CBI has taken up a summon to Manish Sisodia. Would you be able to tell us a little more on that? Summons were issued by the CBI to Manish Sisodia, and he's asked for a renewed date, another date for him to attend. How far is that true?
Well, Manish Sisodia was summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation to appear before them on February 26th, that is Sunday. Earlier also there was summon issued, but Manish Sisodia said that he had to present and prepare the budget of Delhi. That is why he needs time till February 27. But the Central Bureau of Investigation decided to question, and they issued a summon again to Manish Sisodia to appear, to ask him to appear before them on this Sunday, that is February 26th. So CBI, on one hand, they are ready to question Manish Sisodia. Manish Sisodia in his statement said that if he appears before the Central Bureau of Investigation, then there is a high possibility that he will be arrested. I spoke to my sources within the Central Bureau of Investigation. They are claiming that they have huge amount of evidence against Manish Sisodia. They want to confront Manish Sisodia with those evidences, and if Manish Sisodia fails to defend himself during the confrontation with those evidence, then there is a high possibility that he might be arrested for his alleged role in executing this entire Delhi liquor policy, excise policy. As far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, Enforcement Directorate on the other side, they are going step by step. First of all, they call the businessmen, there are certain key players in this case, and now they are recording the statements to make a very foolproof case against Manish Sisodia and possibly against Arvind Kejriwal also, and that is why they are questioning the PA of Delhi Chief Minister in connection with this case as we speak.
Yeah, that is certainly huge development there. Manjinder Sissa of the BJP joins us on the phone line. Mr. Sissa, a quick word from you as we see Arvind Kejriwal's personal assistant has now been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. What does that speak of?
Arvind Kejriwal as a Chief Minister, उन्होंने ये हाई पावर्ड कमेटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट की, जिस कमेटी ने, जिसमें स्तेंदर जैन, मनीष सिसोदिया, जिन लोगों ने 2% से 12% कमीशन बढ़ाकर जो हम होलसेलर थे उनको 2,500 करोड़ रुपए का प्रॉफिट दिया और सरकार को 8,000 करोड़ रुपए का नुकसान। तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की नॉलेज के बिना तो संभव ही नहीं है कि विजय नायर जैसा आदमी एक मिनिस्ट्रियल बंगला लॉट करा के रह रहा हो, तो संभव ही नहीं था। उनके स्टाफ की और उनकी तो सीधी इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, और इतने हजारों करोड़ रुपया जब आ रहा था तो ऐसा संभव नहीं था कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की नॉलेज के बिना आ रहा है। जब दिल्ली की राजधानी को 8,000 करोड़ रुपए का राजस्व में नुकसान हुआ तो ऐसा तो नहीं था अरविंद केजरीवाल तब सो रहे थे। और जब ये पॉलिसी बनाने के लिए उन्होंने हाई पावर्ड कमेटी में 3 लोगों को डाला और उन लोगों ने 2% से 12% कमीशन की, तो ऐसा तो नहीं था अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की जानकारी के बिना हुआ। तो ये सारी चीजों के में कटघरे में अरविंद केजरीवाल है, पैसे का लेन देन अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने किया है, तो उनका स्टाफ और उन लोगों को, मैं तो कहता हूं अरविंद केजरीवाल को भी जरूर बुलाया जाना चाहिए एज अ मुख्यमंत्री। उनकी नॉलेज के
बिल्कुल do you think Arvind Kejriwal will now be summoned next?
No, I don't think so, but I'd say the investigation, it's the whole purpose of the idea to discuss, but as far as Michael say that yes, he just called for investigation because he is the one who is the main achievement.
Right. You know, the excise policy has been going on for months, Mr. Sissa. Investigation is on, but the Aam Aadmi Party says if there was any fault in their framing of the policy, by now they should have been implicated. But so far, the ED, IT, CBI have no proof, and which is why there's no progress in this case at all. That's what they say. This is a vilification campaign against them. All right, I'm cutting across to Akshita joining us live from the newsroom as well with more information. Akshita, a quick word. We see Arvind Kejriwal's PA has been summoned. He's been questioned as well. And this makes us want to think that maybe Arvind Kejriwal would be next. Here, the Chief Minister of Delhi also could be summoned in the same excise policy case.
Very true, Nabila. This is possibly the biggest news break yet in the liquor gate scam. While we've seen the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI parallelly conducting investigations, you've seen some of the top AAP leaders being questioned as well in this case. You also mentioned the example of Manish Sisodia, who's been summoned by the CBI for a second time after he asked time the first time around. Now Sunday we'll have to see if he actually appears before the CBI. Arvind Kejriwal, while commenting on that, said that this entire liquor gate scam is political vendetta. There is no scam in the first place. So that's been Kejriwal's defense all along. But what the Enforcement Directorate currently is saying is that there's a serious ring of corruption that needs to be looked into. According to them, kickbacks from the liquor policy was used by the Aam Aadmi Party in their Goa campaign. According to the Enforcement Directorate, Arvind Kejriwal was directly involved in some of the phone conversations that happened with the South Cartel, as they're being referred to. And I'm talking about BRS MLC, Kalvakuntla Kavita's name being brought up, a YSRCP MP's name being brought up. His son Raghava was taken into custody a few days ago. Now the allegation, according to the Enforcement Directorate, is that Kejriwal was involved in the conversations and directly in the dealings. That Vijay Nair, who's being deemed as the kingpin of this liquor gate, was someone in fact who Kejriwal vouched for personally, saying Vijay Nair is my boy, you can trust him with these transactions. So Kejriwal's name has repeatedly been brought up by the investigative agencies. But this is perhaps the first step that's being taken closest really to getting to Kejriwal, in the sense that his personal assistant has now been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate, is being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. That means essentially that the agency believes there is reason to believe Kejriwal's direct involvement, and perhaps that the PA will give them more leads on that. This will lead to a fresh showdown, of course, between the AAP and the BJP. But when the allegation is about Vijay Nair receiving 100 crores as kickbacks from the liquor policy, 70 crores being transferred to, in fact, the AAP Goa campaign. And you know also that there's an advertising agency top honcho who's been taken into custody in Goa also for his role in that entire advertising campaign, again linked to the liquor gate. So there have been a lot of questions about where this money was used, the alleged kickbacks from the liquor policy, and in all of that, the Enforcement Directorate has said that there is a role of Arvind Kejriwal. So it's not just Manish Sisodia now who faces fire from the agencies in the liquor gate scam. It's reaching right up to Arvind Kejriwal as well.
Right. At this point, we hear that he's not just summoned, but he's also been questioned. The questioning is complete. Do we know any of those updates? Akshata, what line of questioning was it? If we also have Manish on the same, if you could elaborate a little on the PA, his background, any word on the line of questioning? Well, it appears we've lost Monish's connection. Akshata, a little more on this liquor excise policy itself, where Aam Aadmi Party has been denying those allegations. They say this is vendetta politics, this is a vilification campaign against them. These months that have passed since the ED, IT, CBI, all the central forces have been investigating the matter and have really found nothing substantial to arrest any of their netas.
True, Nabila, and this is what AAP has consistently said. They've said that if you have evidence against us, why haven't you taken us into custody? Manish Sisodia has time and again said, with every charge sheet that's come out, has said you've named some aides, but you've never directly named us. Why is that if you've got this mountain of evidence against us as well? So that's something the agencies have to answer. It hasn't, however, stopped them from moving forward with their investigation, from continuing to look into the roles of, let's say, a Kejriwal or a Manish Sisodia for that matter. You know, the likes of Vijay Nair and several others, allegedly aides related and connected directly to Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia, have been taken into custody. Their role, according to the ED and the CBI, has more or less been established. But right now, if you look at how the investigation of the Enforcement Directorate is going forward, it's clear that their focus largely has been really on where the kickbacks has gone, whether there have been any sort of, you know, bribes that have been used, the money that was in fact received from this alleged scam, how it was spent, and that's why that link has gone across to Telangana. That's why that link has gone across to Andhra. That link has gone across to Goa as well. And in all of that, there's a clear AAP link according to the Enforcement Directorate, which is why you see more and more AAP leaders now being brought into the fray of the investigation. We're getting in some reports of more AAP leaders also being summoned right now by the Enforcement Directorate, but we'll confirm that with Munish in just a bit. We're still waiting also for word from Arvind Kejriwal. He hasn't reacted yet to the fact that one of his closest aides, the fact that his personal assistant now has been summoned as well, has been questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, we're yet to get those details, Nabila, that you asked about what really is the inside track of the questioning, what was the line of questioning. But going by the investigation, the probe by the Enforcement Directorate, and how they've constantly raked up Arvind Kejriwal's name, it's very clear that they're going to be questioning what his links to Vijay Nair are, whether they can directly establish that, where did the money go, the 100 crore alleged kickbacks that went to Vijay Nair, the 70 crores allegedly that went in the AAP Goa campaign. All of this the Enforcement Directorate is looking into because they allege that Kejriwal had a direct involvement in that.
All right, I'm going to cut across to BJP's Manoj Tiwari, who's speaking on the same. Let's cut across.
आज दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल के पीए यानी कि पर्सनल असिस्टेंट को ईडी द्वारा बुलाया गया है, उनसे पूछताछ चल रही है। क्या इसका मतलब निकल के आता है और आम आदमी पार्टी के लिए आगे किस तरीके से मुश्किलें बढ़ सकती हैं, यही सब सवाल लेके हम मनोज तिवारी जी के पास पहुंचे हैं। मनोज जी, एक के बाद एक समन भेजे जा रहे हैं। पहले मनीष सिसोदिया को गया था, अरविंद केजरीवाल पे भी कई सवाल उठे हैं और अब ईडी ने अरविंद केजरीवाल के पीए को बुला लिया है। क्या आपको लगता है कि घोटाले पे घोटाला किया गया है जिसकी वजह से ऐसा हो रहा है?
देखिए, हम भी हैरान हैं कि वो अरविंद केजरीवाल, उनकी पार्टी जो ईमानदारी का ऐसा चोला पहन के आई थी, इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन, और अभी जिस दिन एक नई सुबह होती है और एक नए भ्रष्टाचार की जांच में एक नए सिरे की हमें जानकारी मिलती है। मुझे भी अभी पता चला कि अब मनीष सिसोदिया, ये सत्येंद्र जैन और कौन कौन लीकर घोटाला, स्कूल घोटाला, ये सब के बीच अब ये जांच की आज अरविंद केजरीवाल के पीए तक पहुंच गई। और ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण इसलिए है कि हर बार ये आके कहते हैं कि हमारे यहाँ तो जांच हुआ था, निकला कुछ नहीं। भाई, जांच एजेंसी ये जान रही है कि ये लोग बहुत ही खतरनाक सोच के लोग हैं, बहुत फूंक फूंक के कदम रख रही है, लेकिन अरविंद केजरीवाल के पीए का भी पूछताछ करना, उसको इसी भ्रष्टाचार में ले आना, ये लगता है कि अब तक की एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण इंपॉर्टेंट समाचार है, क्योंकि अरविंद केजरीवाल के कई ऐसे साक्ष्य मिले हैं जहां से उनकी भूमिका मास्टरमाइंड की लगती है। अब जो भी होगा, हम सिर्फ ये चाहते हैं कि जांच सूक्ष्म हो, हर स्तर पे हो, कोई भी निर्दोष ना फंसे, लेकिन एक जो दोषी हो वो कहीं बच के ना निकल सके, और हम इस कदम का स्वागत करते हैं।
कदम का स्वागत किया जा रहा है मनोज तिवारी द्वारा, और उनका कहना है कि रोज नए नए घोटाले जो हैं सामने आते हैं, और अब ये जांच की आंच अरविंद केजरीवाल के पीए तक पहुंच चुकी है। कैमरा पर्सन अंकित सिंह के साथ ऐश्वर्या पालीवाल आज।